May is nearly in the books, which means it's time for a May wrap-up. Grab your favorite beverage and perhaps a snack or a project and see what I've been up to in the month of May. Hello and welcome to or back to Miss Craftsalot's Lair. I am Barbie, your resident multi-crafter, and today is May wrap-up. May has been kind of a crazy month for me. I thought that I didn't get very much done, partially because of the fact that I was hit with a flare, which is like an increasing of most of, if not all of my symptoms that I have just randomly at any other point in time. So I did not think I got as much done, but then I came back down to the lair to take a look, and I did get more done than I had thought, or that I had thought that I did, or remembered that I did. Besides that, with other news, May, we did find out the timing was fixed on my car, but now there's more engine issues with my car, so that's going to get pushed off to being fixed. Not a big surprise to me. It just kind of ticks me off. I'm glad that we were able to get a look at it, and it's going to be done, hopefully done by the beginning of August, instead of being not done until the beginning of September, because I would really like my car back. It's been parked for quite some time. So hopefully that's moving in the right direction. At least, I mean, progress on it is actually moving instead of being the stalemate that it has been for the last 2 years. So there's that. Oh yeah, I didn't mention my hair. Got my hair done. Cute. Cut. I have been playing around with it to see which way I like to style it. So it hasn't been this short in quite some time. Anyway, another thing that I did is I worked through my flare, and I went to the Madison Bridal Expo with my best friend. I am going to be matron of honor in her wedding. So we went to go and see if we can get like some ideas of different things that she may need on all that jazz for her wedding. So we went to the Bridal Expo in Madison, Wisconsin. I will further that one. It was a bit smaller than what I thought it was going to be. However, it wasn't the vendor that was at the show. We at least knew that what we had to look for other vendors. So that's a plus. I did not get a whole bunch of video there. Like I said, it was a bit smaller than what I had expected it to be. I had thought that we were going to be there the entire 4 hours that it was running. We were only there for a couple of hours, which is awesome. About an hour before we would have been leaving one of our stores that we wanted to go to stop at, if we could, would have been closing. We ended up getting out of there. We were only there for like an hour and a half, actually. And we ended up getting a chance to go to one of our favorite little local yarn shops. And I'm not going to show you what's in the bag quite yet. But Spry Whimsy. The store is called Spry Whimsy, and it is basically on the main drag in downtown Stoughton. So we were able to stop by there. Super happy that we were able to, because we're both fiber artists. She does knitting, and I do, well, you know, if you've been around, you know what I do. My disk space got used up, so I got kicked out. Anyway, so Spry Whimsy, that's what we were talking about. So we were able to stop by Spry Whimsy. I love their little shop. It is fairly easy to find a parking spot, which was Also, it was surprising to me because they were having kind of a, I think it was Norwegian festival going on that same day. So we were able to sneak a parking spot pretty close to the yarn shop and get in there and be surrounded by all of the fiber and other crafty people. So that was a really good. We enjoyed that quite a bit. I did make acquisitions this month. I will run through those real fast to get them done and out of the way. All right. So from Spry Whimsy, I have all sorts of other little goodies in here, but the main buy from Spry Whimsy was I got these 2 skeins of yarn. They are Ella Ray Sweetie Pie Premium Acrylic. I know I have been trying to get away from acrylic. However, finding natural fibers that I like is proving to be an issue for me. So I have decided to lighten up a little bit when it comes to what I am buying. Like I said, trying to get away from like the 100% acrylics. We're trying. That's all I can say. Anyway, like I said, this is a 100% acrylic. It is 100 grams and it is 328 yards. And yes, I know I'm kind of mixing the two measurement types, but that's what works best in my brain. So it is 100 grams, 300 meters. But I look at 100 grams and 328 yards. So, but it is this pink with all of these, not tweed, but it's dyed to be all these different colors. So I think that is super fun. So it's got a light pink for the main color. I don't know if it is coming through very well, but it is a light pink with purple and hot pink speckles in it. And I did get 2 of them. So far that puts me up to 200 grams acquired. And then just the other day, I was out with my dad and running errands with him and all fun stuffs. And we were down by one of my Michaels. We have 3 Michaels stores within, I would say, about a 45-minute radius from my house. So we were down near one of them. I checked my app. I was looking to find out to see if they had any sales on yarn going on at the time. But I ended up mishitting and hit rewards, and I found out, happy surprise, that I had a $5 reward. So I was like, well, saying we're down in the area and I have a $5 reward, why not pick up some yarn from Michael's? And these are what caught my eye. This is Loops and Threads Heathered Bamboo, and it is 204, not 204, 204 yards, and it is 150 grams per skein. And I did get 2 of these. This is in the colorway violet, so it is like purple with the heathered white, and I really like how this feels. It is 40 or 53% acrylic, 47% bamboo, and I got 2 because I'm thinking might make some slippers out of these and see about some more slippers for the Lair, because it gets kind of, the floor gets chilly in here, even though it's like almost 90 degrees outside. It does get kind of chilly in here, so I'm always looking for easy keep my feet warm, because we like to have warm tootsies. So but yeah, Size 4. Both of these I think are size 4. Nope, take that back. This is light. This is 4. So 3 and 4. That's why things were kind of funky. My computer started doing. Yeah, my computer wasn't plugged in, so maybe you guys can see these better now. So again, light pink with the purple and blue specks, and then the bamboo that is that purple violet heather. So those were my acquisitions. So I'm sorry. So for acquisitions, I had 200 grams for these two, and then these two are 300 grams combined. Now let's talk about my works in progress. My last week's video kind of bombed according to analytics, which is fine. It was something kind of unusual for what I normally show on my channel. It was leaning towards knit. However, it wasn't an exact knit. I was trying to take care of a problem that I am having currently with a work in progress that I am working on. I am not going to be showing that on camera because that is going to be a video for July, I believe. And all I will say, what I will say is the fact that it does have lace work in it. It's knit lace work. And if you are unfamiliar with knit lace work, you are doing increases and decreases. So generally an increase with a yarn over, and then a decrease with either a knit or purl two together, or you're going to do a slip, slip, knit, or slip, slip, purl. Something interesting, I did not realize that slip, slip purls existed until this particular project, but so I have been playing around with that. And I started losing track of what row I was on when anyway, I was starting to have an issue with my knit rows, which row I was on, and keeping track of where I was supposed to be in this pattern. And so I made a knit row counter. So that was last week's video. That is that is one of my works in progress. Like I said, I am not sharing it with you guys quite yet. That's going to be in July. Just know that I have that as a work in progress. A hidden work in progress, if you shall. Another work in progress is the fact that I have this amount of yarn left from the Premier Yarns Serenity. This one is a garden, and it is in the shade Crocus. I am unsure if you can even get this yarn anymore. If you cannot, I am so sorry. This has been sitting in my stash for probably a good 5 to 7 years. So I'm not sure if this is even available anymore. It's the Deborah Norville collection. However, I had made a pair of socks using this particular yarn, and I had quite a bit left over. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to continue making socks until I use all of this up. So I still have 55 grams of this left. So I am working on this. This is so this is another work in progress. And yeah, so that is, it's going quite swimmingly. I finally figured out, or I had gotten back into the rhythm of making socks. So with that, well, one last project, I still have that cat scarf that I need to finish. Like, I'm probably going to take that up with me today and try to finish that over this weekend, because it's been sitting there for quite a while, and I want it done. Now I am bouncing down this little rabbit hole to show you what I have finished for finished objects. So we had been talking about the socks that I am making, another pair of them. I have made now a total of 3 pairs of these socks, as you can tell from this. 2 at a time, toe up, right? Okay, 2 at a time, toe up. The question is, though, now that I have in for me, is why is it that I only have 3 socks? Generally, it takes washing your socks to lose a sock. Apparently, I lost a sock in the time that I decided to put the socks in a pile, and the time that I finished them off and cut the yarn. So I'm not sure where that other sock went. So I'm gonna have to go hunt those down. However, I do have the total from the yarn that I have left over as to how much yarn I've used for these socks. So yeah. So that's going to be talked about in a little while. I also made my moss kitten this month. I am super excited. I'm like super pleased with how he turned out. Another finished that I did was the scrappy blanket, the strip number 8. Cannot forget that. All right. So the majority of my time was spent on the mystery, the hidden work in progress. I'm working 5 segments of the lace. I got to the 4th segment and realized I made a mistake in the 1st segment. So I ended up having to frog all the way back, all of that out. I made the row counter, which is why I kind of made that row counter, is because I knew that I was going to have to be frogging all of that. So then that was the greater majority. That was the project that was the greater majority of May. So hopefully I will be able to move on to the next part of that project fairly soon. And like I said, that video, again, 3rd time I'm probably telling you this, July. It'll be in July. You'll be able to see it in July. Now we are on to the yarn usage totals. So I don't have anything for the mystery hidden project to weigh up because I am waiting until I'm completely done with a skein or a color in order to mark it done. So there is nothing going to be taken off of the totals for this particular month for that. However, at the very beginning of this month, I worked on the Scrappy Blanket number 8 strip. That was 122 grams. The Moss Kitten was the next project. That tipped the scales at a very meager 31 grams. I also made the socks. So I am taking the amount of yarn that I have left, the weight of that, away from the full weight of the unused skeins. And so that gets me to I have used already 78 grams of that particular yarn, leaving me with 55 grams, about, I think, 52 grams left to work through. But that's 78 grams. So actually, that's 2 pairs of socks, not 3. I'm working on the 3rd one. So that gets me to a grand total for the month of May at being 231 grams of yarn used. For the year so far, I have used 2,006 grams of yarn. Unfortunately, I added my acquisition yarn was 500 grams, so I only used half of the amount that I brought back in. So I'm negative use. But oh well, it happens. I'm actually kind of surprised by how much I did use. I did not think I used that much in this month. So I do give myself props for that. This isn't really trying to get through my stash, but just acknowledge the fact that I have my stash there and that I need to use from that when I need to. So it's more of a challenge to see how much I can use, honestly. So that is what I did in May. If you are interested in the information for the moss kitten, I suggest that you go and watch that video. The link is in the description as to how to get to my notes for that particular project. I also have the notes for Fat Nuggets already typed up and posted. I believe that one is on my blog, whereas Moss Kitten is on Ko-Fi. I don't know why I did that. I think I'm going to try to get everything onto Ko-Fi. I think that's about it as far as today. So thank you for joining me. And if you like this, please like, share, and consider subscribing. I am still trying to get to 500 subscribers. That is my next subscriber goal, and it seems like it is like taking me a while to get there. So definitely not very many videos of my jewelry making, I don't think is a good thing for me to put on this channel. But anyway, until next time, bye.